What's going on YouTube? So there are a few vehicles on the market that have ever transformed a brand's image when they were first revealed, but that's exactly what happened when Kia revealed this Telluride back in 2020. It shocked the world with its striking design and features that embarrassed even luxury SUVs on the market. Well, Kia is hoping to repeat that success with the second generation all-new 2027 Telluride. But has Kia done enough to destroy rivals like the Toyota Grand Highlander and all-new Hyundai Palisade? That's what we're here to find out today. So what better place to start out this review than by talking about the exterior design? That's really what made the Telluride successful in its first generation, was this very Range Rover-like and boxy design. And I have to say, seeing the second generation here in person, I think they absolutely nailed the overall look of this model. So let's start out by talking about the grille. So up here in the grille area, they have enlarged this and widened it for 2027. So you'll notice it really takes up most of the entire front end, and you'll see that a lot of the grille itself is going to be blacked out, including that Kia logo right front and center. Now, what we're looking at today is the top-end X Pro. So this is the most off-road capable Telluride that they're offering. Now, they have not given us a full trim lineup, but we do expect the trim structure to remain mostly the same for 2027 as compared to the 2025 model. Now, I do want to just quickly address the fact that Kia is completely skipping the 2026 model year Telluride, so we're just going straight from 2025 to 2027. Now, let's take a look at this lower fascia. Here on the X Pro, you do have the real recovery hooks, and you're also going to have a lift on this model, so you have 9.1 inches of ground clearance, which does make this the most capable Telluride, and it actually is more ground clearance than what you get on the sibling mate Palisade X Pro. Now, let's also take a look at these headlights as well. One of the most signature design themes for the Telluride were these amber LED headlights. That, of course, is going to continue for 2027, so you see those distinctly here on the side. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And then your actual headlights themselves are going to be projector LEDs, and they're located over here on the sides. I also want to point out, Kia is saying that they have really cool animations and exterior ground lighting all around this vehicle for 2027, and then you have your LED fog lights down here at the bottom. Now, of course, no redesign would be complete without some new wheels, and of course we're going to have that. We're going to have a little bit more of a geometric design than what the Telluride has had in previous model years, but one of the things that I'm really happy to tell you is that they've kind of upsized the wheels. So you start at 18-inch alloy wheels, and then you go all the way up to 21-inch alloy wheels, so that's an inch bigger than the previous largest wheel that you could get on the Telluride. Of course, this X Pro is also going to have all-terrain tires for that extra capability. And then as far as our wheel surrounds, those are going to be finished in a piano black, and I really like these notches that they've done in the wheel arches. It really gives it a unique design from other SUVs on the market. Now let's take a look at our mirrors. Our mirrors are also going to be fully loaded as expected. They have the gloss black finish. We have power folding. I'm also noticing that we have auto dimming on both the driver and passenger side, as well as things like probably standard blind spot monitoring on all models. Now at the side, of course, this vehicle is going to be a little bit different in size as compared to the previous Telluride. They said it's up about 2.3 inches in overall length, which would mean that this is about 199.2 inches in vehicle length. That does mean it's a little bit smaller than some of its main competition, like the Toyota Grand Highlander. But as far as design, I have to say there's a lot of nice design here at the side. It, of course, has that very blocky look. We also have the pop-out door handles, which are new for this generation of the Telluride, blacked out window surrounds, and the raised roof rails up top for this trim level. Also, you might notice this really cool paint color. This is known as terrain brown. They'll be offering this in both a gloss finish as well as this matte finish. And of course, in typical Telluride fashion, there's going to be a lot of really cool colors that they offer, although we have no official word on if a two-tone roof will be optioned on this vehicle. Now, as far as the rear, once again, I really think Kia hasn't nailed the design. They really had to stick with the signature Telluride cues, and I think they've done that, but fully modernized it for this all-new generation. As far as individual design touches, we'll start up here with the spoiler. We have a nice integrated spoiler. We do have a wiper integrated underneath of that, and then a camera for your digital rearview mirror. Kia branding and Telluride branding are both going to be prominent across the back, and it's going to be fully blacked out. Let's take a look at our taillights as well. Really, this is honestly the same design really as the current generation Telluride, and I don't think they should have messed with success, so I'm happy to see that. And I think it looks very similar to something like the full-size Range Rover, which is one of the vehicles that a lot of people kind of cross-shopped this with. Now, as we drop down to the lower fascia, we once again have real recovery hooks. This is your LED reverse light, and your tow rating comes in at 4,000 pounds or 5,000 pounds if it remains the same as the all-new Palisade. Telluride is a family vehicle, so of course all of your active safety features we do expect to be standard equipment on this all-new generation. That will even include a lot of cool features such as Highway Drive Assist 2, likely, so that would be things like assisted lane change. But guys, we have got to talk about the super luxurious cabin as well. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, but we have got to check out the interior of this new Telluride. Of course, there's a lot going on here. We do expect standard smart entry. There's your pop-out door handles, and look inside at that brand new cabin for this Telluride. This certainly is a very striking design. It's also very luxurious, which is one of the reasons why this vehicle was so successful when it first launched, so I'm happy that Kia hasn't messed with that. But let's go ahead and start by talking about our seats. So we are lacking some official details on like trim structure and what features will be offered. However, I can just talk about what we have today. This is a really nice feeling leatherette seat, I'm suspecting. This feels like a Kia Syntex leatherette, but it's their very upscale leatherette that I feel like they use on their EV9 products. Previously, the Telluride did have a Napa leather, so maybe that will be offered. And then up here at the top, we have a cloth trim with some X-Pro branding, and then we also have kind of this mesh-style headrest, which is really quite comfortable. Now, they will be offering a lot of interior colors as well, so there's a beautiful brown that will be offered on this vehicle. I think it looks a lot better than the black and a lot more expensive. There's also a cool purple option for 2027, so you can rest assured that Kia will give you a lot of different colors for those of you that want anything other than the black. Now, our seat adjustments are right through here. You have a lot of seat adjustments, including a power thigh extension, four-way lumbar support, adjustable bolsters, and look over here at the door trim. You'll find that we have heated and ventilated seats. We also have new Ergo Motion Massage, so that was a feature that wasn't offered on the Telluride before. That is now going to be offered for this new version. Heated steering wheel and then two-person memory seats. Well, let's go ahead and climb inside and check out the rest of the details. Now, hopping inside, I do have to be rather quick because we are in a very strict time crunch with this Telluride. Kia just gave us about 15 minutes with this new model. So let's go ahead and dive in straight from the start by talking about some materials. Overall, I love the design of this new model, and materials-wise, really nice stuff. We have leatherette all through here, leatherette in our armrest portion. Then as we go up to the upper dashboard, this is all going to be finished in a leatherette. We have really cool ambient lighting going through here. That's a big improvement over the outgoing model. And this is actually a engineered carbon trim here on the X Pro. You can also get engineered wood on the more luxurious versions. And then, of course, you have your signature Telluride handlebars right through here, but with some additional storage. I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, your push-button start has been located to the shifter itself, and once we fire up this model, you'll see the latest and greatest Kia tech. So right here front and center is a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. It has a really nice look to it, similar to other Kia products. I suspect it will also have the blind spot camera system. We have a head-up display, and then coming back to the steering wheel itself, a little bit of a blockier look to this. I really like the feel of it in the hand, and one of the things I'm happy to see is that it has heating as well as even power adjusting. That's certainly a feature that you don't expect to find in this segment of vehicle. Now, let's look at the center console. If we fold it out, you will find a decent amount of space in here, although it is a little bit smaller than you might expect. We'll see about other storage here in just a second. You have your cup holders located right through here. You can pop them out like that or just use it as storage. And then you also have this nice cover that you can kind of push to cover that up. In front of that, you have dual wireless phone charging pads, so that's really nice. And then also you have this new center pass-through that gives you a lot more storage solutions on this model. Of course, you have the new electronic style shifter, and you have things like a 360-degree camera system on this model. When you go into reverse, I'll go ahead and launch that right here. That's what your 360 looks like, and you can actually spin all the way around the vehicle. It's the same one that you see on more expensive products like Genesis. Your climate's going to be a 3-zone automatic setup. You also have your volume roller right there front and center, and that's going to actually control a Meridian audio system. So that's a nice upgrade on this model. It kind of looks like it has metal speaker grills as well, so I'm happy to see a nice branded audio system on this model. And as far as other features, we have the 5-inch climate screen here that you can adjust a couple different things, and then a 12.3-inch main infotainment system. This will be running CCNC, so you have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and the latest software, so that's definitely quite nice. Now up here at the top, we have a mirror that is auto-dimming. You have your HomeLink remotes, and you also have the rear camera ability. And in addition to that, you have the suede headliner for this fully loaded example. And you also have a standard size moonroof up here in the front, and then your panoramic style moonroof here in the second row. Just be aware that that second row moonroof does not open up. And now we've got to talk about the rear seat area for the Telluride. Now, unfortunately, we don't have official specs or figures like that. However, I am expecting it's going to be very similar to the current generation model, which is certainly quite good. You'll sit at over 40 inches of rear legroom. And if it's anything like the Palisade, it will be one of the largest options that you can get here in the second row. Now, the seats themselves do slide forward and back a good distance, and they also have a recline function as well. So they're super comfortable. Just want to point out that you're not going to have a power second row like you can get in the Palisade model, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, let's also talk about some of the features. So we'll start out here in the center. You have 2 USB ports, 2 cup holders prominently through there, and then if you pull this out, you'll actually find a table. So that's a really cool feature that this is including. You have like a little bit of a table that you can use here in the second row. You can also slide this back, and that's going to reveal quite a bit more storage. Now, let's take a look over at the door trim as well. The door trim is going to be nicely done. So you have rear window sunshades, and then up in front of that, you'll find the controls for your heated and ventilated seats. That's definitely a nice feature to see on this model that will continue from the previous generation. And the door trim itself is nicely done with a lot of ambient lighting and nice materials. You even have storage down in the bottom. And then right here in the center area is where your vents will come out of, and you also have your own climate controls up in the ceiling. And let's check out the third row. In order to get back here, it's quite easy. You just press this button. That will actually kind of tilt the seat up and out of the way. That is nice. You would not have to remove a child seat because of that mechanism. And let's check out the third row itself. So the third row is going to be pretty nice. This is my, second time back here today. And overall, pretty good space figures. We're sitting at probably around 32 inches of legroom. The headroom is actually quite good. By the way, for this new Telluride, they have said that they increased the height by 1 inch, so that's a pretty nice benefit. And then over here on the side, you have a couple cup holders, USB ports, and vents coming out of the ceiling. Just be aware that you cannot get a heated third row or a power sliding third row, at least on this version of the Telluride, so that would be a feature that's exclusive to the Palisade. And let's go ahead and see how much cargo capacity you have in this new Telluride. Of course, you have a standard hands-free power tailgate. And as far as space, once again, I don't have official numbers just yet, but we can kind of infer what this new Telluride will have. We're going to be sitting probably around 20 cubic feet of space behind the third row of seats. The third row, by the way, is going to still be manual folding, so that's a feature I wish they had added for this new model, is the power folding third row. When we fold those down, and the second row seats, which we can easily do with little buttons right here, that's probably going to give you around 87 cubic feet if it's like the new Palisade, as well as the previous generation Telluride. So pretty good figures. It's not going to be as good as the Grand Highlander. And speaking of the competition, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. The reason you do that is because we've looked at all the 3-row midsize SUVs on the market and ranked them in individual categories such as cargo capacity, interior technology, powertrain choices, luxury features, and you can rank based and see which options might be the best option for you in the segment. So if you want to make an informed buying decision, definitely check that out. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I am on a time crunch, so I can't get out my ruler and tape measure and all that stuff. You will have to wait for a review coming soon to the channel when this vehicle is going closer to being on sale. And of course, we've got to talk about what powers this new Telluride. Now, Kia was pretty tight-lipped about what is powering this model. However, we have a pretty good idea of what might be powering this based on what's in the all-new 2026 Palisade. So what we're expecting as the base engine is a 3.5-liter all-new V6, making 287 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. You can watch that review. It had nice and smooth performance, so we would expect that to remain the same here in the Telluride, although it was not the fastest option that you can get in the segment. Now, the really interesting thing is that Kia has confirmed that there will be a hybrid, which of course the Palisade is also going to have. That's a 2.5-liter turbo four-cylinder, 2 electric motors, 329 horsepower, 339 pound-feet of torque. We look forward to driving that on the channel very soon, and certainly that's going to be a choice that a lot of buyers, I think, in this segment will want because it has extra power. It also will likely have quite a bit better fuel economy. So as far as the fuel economy, we'd expect that to be sitting right around 20 to 22 mpg, depending on the trim level for the V6. Or if you choose the hybrid, we'd expect that to range anywhere from 29 to 33 miles per gallon combined for that new hybrid powertrain. As far as the transmission, 8-speed automatic here on the gasoline version, and then a 6-speed automatic on the hybrid is once again what we expect. But of course, all those details are not quite confirmed by Kia just yet. And of course, I want to mention pricing and availability for this Telluride. Unfortunately, no official pricing from Kia. However, the current Telluride starts at around $36,000. We do expect a price increase for this new generation. So I'd expect $38,500 as our base price. And then, of course, you would go all the way up to the top-end examples like what you've seen today. I'm expecting around $56,000 for the top-end versions like this in the gas form. Of course, there will be an upcoming hybrid model as well. We expect that to demand a price premium, and that would probably be sitting close to $60,000 after destination. Now, when it comes to availability, Kia has said that this model will likely go on sale in Q1 of 2026, so you have to wait a little bit longer, but not too much longer if you want to pick one of these up. If you're looking to buy a new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealer negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. But guys, that's all for our first look review at the all-new 2027 Kia Telluride. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family, and we have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.